This is Tom Grassi, and this is 30 and 30, and you're watching Illogical Canadian.
Bonjour mes amis, je suis l'Énergie Canadienne. This is a series I haven't done in a while, and thank God it's back because it's time finally for the week in review. We are finally back with football season. Week 1 is done. It was pure, utter, brutal chaos, filled with laughs, disappointment, rage, everything in between. But what happened? Well, after several months, it's finally time to take a look at week 1. The first game we have is between the Detroit Lions and the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. This game was a little bit tainted for the Chiefs considering that Travis Kelce was out for the game after suffering a hyperextended knee during practice. But they managed to get themselves in a good rhythm, considering, and all things considered. The game on the other hand was slow, but it was still fun to watch. For the Lions, Jared Goff went 22 for 35, 253 yards, and a single touchdown. David Montgomery was the leading rusher for Detroit, 21 carries, 74 yards, and a touchdown run. And the receiver being Josh Reynolds, 4 receptions for 80 yards. For KC, Patrick Mahomes, without his best receiver, Uno is a tight end, went 21 for 39, 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Mahomes also led the team in rushing, 6 carries for 45 yards. And for receiving, Marquez Valdez-Scantling went 2 receptions for 48 yards. And I cannot believe I'm saying this. I mean, you already see it on the score graphic up here. Which, by the way, hey, hopefully you like these. But Detroit came into Arrowhead and upset the Chiefs. Final score 21-20. What a fucking game. Detroit is going to be rocking next week. I cannot wait to hear what Ford Field sounds like. And for our next matchup, we got the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Cleveland Browns in the Battle of Ohio, taking place from the shit show known as Cleveland. You can tell by the score already above me. This game was a fucking wreck for Cincinnati. Everything that went wrong. And I can't even explain what world we're living in where Joe Burrow was outplayed by fucking Deshaun Watson. What the fuck? Speaking of Burrow, he went 14 for 31 and 82 yards. Mixon carried the ball 13 times on the ground for 56 yards. For receiving, it's obviously Jamar Chase, 5 receptions for 39 yards. For Cleveland, Deshaun Watson went 16 for 29, 154 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Nicholas Chubb ran 18 times for a total of 106 yards. For receiving, Elijah Moore caught the ball 3 times for 43 yards as Cleveland, not Cincinnati, but Cleveland, is taking this game by a score of 24-3 in what is considered a massive what the fuck happened Cincinnati. I don't even know how you explain what this game was, so I won't. I won't even try. For the next matchup, we have the Houston Texans traveling on up to Baltimore to take on those Ravens. When you think CJ Stroud is good, which I'm not going to fault him for, he played a good game. But you got to remember, this is the Houston Texans. Nothing good comes out of this team. Please, CJ, I know you're a first-year quarterback. I know you only played 1 game. Please, for the love of fucking Christ, fix that team. For Texans, CJ Stroud went 28 for 44, 242 yards. Again, very impressive. For rushing, Damian Pierce ran 11 times for only 38 yards. For receiving, Nico Collins caught it 6 times for a total of 80 yards. For Baltimore, Lamar Jackson went 17 for 22, 169 yards, and a pick. Jackson also led in rushing, 6 carries for 38 yards, and it makes Damian Pierce's average look weak. For receiving, it was rookie Zay Flowers out of Boston College with 9 receptions for 78 yards, en route to a Ravens win by a score of 25-9. Couldn't even freaking score a touchdown, Houston, huh? Damn shame. You guys have it in you, but apparently not today. You guys got butchered in season of Old Bay. Rip. For the next matchup, we got ourselves the Buccaneers traveling up to Minnesota to take on those Vikings. In a game that was a lot closer than I honestly thought it should have been, this is a game that was still very, very well fought between both quarterbacks. And this is one of the more even games, again, though it looks more lopsided on paper. The gameplay actually was watchable. It was brilliant. It was fantastic. It was physical. It's just everything you love about football. For Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield went 21 for 34, 173 yards and 2 touchdowns. Rashad White was the leading rusher, 17 carries for 39 yards. And for receiving, Mike Evans channeled his inner Satan by catching the ball 6 times for 66 yards and a touchdown. For Minnesota, Mr. Kirk Cousins went 33 for 44, 344 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Alexander Madison carried the ball 11 times for 34 yards. Receiving, it wound up being Justin Jefferson. 9 receptions for 150 yards. Holy shit, this guy is good. Say what you want about the Vikings. They tried, but a last-second field goal by Tampa Bay sealed the game. Tampa Bay wins 20-17 in a hard-fought battle. And honestly, good for them. I didn't think Baker was going to be good, but you know what? It worked out. And that's the best thing you could say right now. It worked out. Now entering the field is the first overall pick, Bryce Young, as our next matchup features the Carolina Panthers going down to Atlanta to play their division rivals in the Atlanta Falcons. Carolina, I just gotta ask, what the fuck was this game? I mean, you looked like you had flashes of brilliance, especially Bryce Young, but what was that? I don't know. You probably depleted yourselves of receivers once you traded DJ Moore for the right to even get Bryce Young in the first place. Speaking of Bryce Young, he had a little bit of a slow start to his NFL career, going 20 for 38, 146 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Miles Sanders, the newest Panther, carrying the ball 18 times for 72 yards. For receiving, it was Hayden Hurst, 5 receptions for 41 yards and a touchdown. All right. For the Falcons, Desmond Ridder went 15 for 18, 115 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Algier carried the ball 15 times for 75 yards and 2 touchdowns. And for receiving, Kyle Pitts caught the ball twice for 44 yards. And that somehow, and I didn't think it was going to happen, but it did. The Falcons bested the Panthers by a score of 24-10 in a really great game. Again, not to discredit them. They played great. The Falcons escaped Mercedes-Benz with the win. And Atlanta's very happy where they are at right now. Will they remain this way? Only time will tell. But for now, it's a start. Baby steps, Atlanta. Baby steps. Welcome to Bullshit Incarnate, as we bring you probably the biggest bullshit game of the season between the Cardinals and the Washington Commanders. This is a game, again, that people thought was not going to be doing well, considering both teams are actually kind of dog shit. But we got a game. It was a close game. I mean, probably not as close as you thought it was, but it was still decently close. For Arizona, Josh Dobbs went 21 for 30 and 132 yards. James Conner ran 14 times for 62 yards. For receiving, Rondale Moore caught it 3 times for a total of 34 yards. For Washington, Sam Howell went 19 for 31, 202 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Brian Robinson carried it 19 times for 59 yards. For receiving, Curtis Samuel caught it 5 times for 54 yards, leading to a Commanders win by a score of 20-16 over Arizona, who is presumably going after Caleb Williams. That is, should he not go back to USC next year. But time will tell. But I have a feeling that one of these teams or both are going to be absolute dog shit this year. God help them. For our next game, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars going up to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Anthony Richardson probably looked the best out of all the 3 QBs from the draft. He looked the best out of them. And I can't even complain. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Colts, but I would say that he looked very solid, and he was able to do a lot this game. And damn, he looked very impressive. I can't even complain. He looked very damn impressive. For Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence went 24 for 32, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Travis Etienne carried the ball 18 times for 77 yards and a touchdown. And for receiving, it was the returning Calvin Ridley from suspension, catching it 8 times for 101 yards and a touchdown. You gotta love to see a redemption story. For Indianapolis, Mr. Anthony Richardson went 24 for 37, 223 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. He also ran the ball 10 times for 40 yards, including what would be his first NFL touchdown. For receiving, it was Michael Pittman carrying it 8 times for 97 yards and a touchdown. But unfortunately for Indianapolis, despite Anthony Richardson's very impressive gameplay, they would not be able to beat Jacksonville as they fall 31-21 to the Jaguars. The Colts have a bright future with Anthony Richardson. All you're going to get is an offensive line and some weapons, and maybe patch up that defense a little bit. And you guys are going to be looking solid. Probably not this year you guys will be in the playoffs, but you'll get close. I give it about another year or 2, and then you could probably make some noise, pending if you make the right moves. And if you keep Jonathan Taylor. But to each their own. But not a bad start, Indy. Not a bad start despite the loss. Good job. Welcome to this bullshit game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. This, I thought it was going to be a lot closer, and I thought it was going to be a lot more, I guess, entertaining. But what we wound up getting was a complete and utter fucking blowout. When Pittsburgh thinks they have a chance, they don't. For San Fran, Brock Purdy went 19 for 29, 220 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey carried it 22 times for 152 yards and a touchdown. For receiving, Brandon Ayuk caught it 8 times for 129 yards and 2 touchdowns. What a day for him. For Pittsburgh, Kenny Pickett went 31 for 46, 232 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Najee Harris carried it 6 times for 31 yards. For receiving, Allen Robinson caught it 5 times for 64 yards. Pittsburgh only got 1 touchdown thanks to Pat Freiermuth, but other than that, it was a blowout. 30-7, San Francisco fucking smacks them, and San Francisco takes the win. Pittsburgh, are you sure you guys are okay? You lost Cam Hayward for a little while due to injury. Are you guys okay? For the next matchup, we got the Tennessee Titans taking on the Saints in the Bayou. And this is apparently Field Goal Festival weekend in New Orleans. As apparently the only thing that was really generating points was fucking field goals. Field goal here, field goal there, field goal here, field goal there, field goal here, field goal there, field goal here, field goal here, touchdown. Yeah, it was field goal fucking mania. There was like a total of 8 field goals in this fucking game. 8. But they say, oh, football's this and that. Apparently not this game. For the Titans, Ryan Tannehill went 16 for 34, 198 yards and 3 picks. Yeesh. Derrick Henry carried the ball 15 times for 63 yards. For receiving, DeAndre Hopkins caught it 7 times for 65 yards. No touchdowns for Tennessee. Woof. For Derek Carr's first game as a Saint, he went 23 for 33, 305 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Jamal Williams carried the ball 18 times for 45 yards. For receiving, Chris Olave caught it 8 times for 112 yards. En route to a Saints victory by 1 fucking point. 16-15 is your final from New Orleans. Tennessee looks like shit, even with DeAndre Hopkins. Woof. Broncos country? What the fuck? What was this game against the Raiders? You mean to tell me that you guys regressed again? And you lose by the same scores you did last year in your season opener? I feel no sympathy. For Jimmy G and the Raiders, Jimmy G went 20 for 26, 200 yards, and a touchdown. Josh Jacobs carried it 19 times for 48 yards. Jacoby Myers caught it 9 times for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns as the leader of the receiver save for Oakland. I mean, Vegas, I don't really care anymore. For Denver, Chef Russ went 27 for 34, 177 yards and 2 touchdowns. Javonte Williams carried it 13 times for 52 yards. For receiving, Samaje Perine caught it 4 times for 37 yards. Vegas, holy shit. Vegas wins 17-16, making Denver have PTSD from last year's game against Seattle. You regret trading Noah Fant yet? You regret it? It's your own damn fault. For our next matchup, we got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on my New England Patriots. I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to be blunt with y'all. I did not expect the Patriots to keep this game close after the first quarter, where they just looked like absolute dog shit. But I'm glad the Patriots were able to bring it back closer. And honest to God, I mean, I'm genuinely shocked. I'm surprised it wasn't a blowout, but rather they kept the game close from the second quarter onward. They kept it close, and they had to do what they had to do to make sure. But they were trying to win the game. But they didn't win, but they at least tried. For the Eagles, Jalen Hurts went 22 for 33, 170 yards and a touchdown. Kenneth Gainwell ran 14 times for 54 yards. For receiving, A.J. Brown caught it 7 times for 79 yards. For the Patriots, Mac Jones went 35 for 54, 316 yards. God damn. 3 touchdowns and an interception. Ezekiel Elliott carried it 7 times for 29 yards to lead the rushing game. For receiving, Ramondre Stevenson caught it 6 times for 64 yards. The Patriots, again, we didn't win, but we kept the game close, and I like to keep the games close. Patriots fall to Philadelphia 25-20. Philadelphia is lucky to be surviving that game. And I know friends that are Eagles fans that have told me that they barely made it out of that game with the win. Goes to show that apparently we can hang. Apparently, the Patriots can hang with the big guys, apparently. Only time will tell. For our next game, we have an NFC West showdown between the Rams and the Seahawks. And just a holy Christ game. Seriously, I mean, I thought Seattle was a lot better than freaking LA, but apparently the Rams decided, hey, we're a thing. We exist. For the Rams, Matt Stafford went 24 for 38, 334 yards. Kyren Williams, not Cam Akers, was RB1 in this game, but Kyren Williams carried it 15 times, 52 yards, and 2 touchdowns. For receiving, it was Tutu Atwell's day. 6 receptions, 119 yards. God damn. For the Seahawks, Geno Smith went 16 for 26, 112 yards and a touchdown. Kenneth Walker carried it 12 times for 64 yards. For receiving, it was DK Metcalf 3 times for 47 yards and a touchdown. But Seattle looked like utter shit in this game, falling to the Rams 30-13. And what I would assume to be them picking up the pieces and trying to figure out where in the hell they stand. Squawk, squawk. For the next matchup, we got the Miami Dolphins taking on the Los Angeles Chargers in a game that honestly might be one of the best this season so far. Both teams look fucking amazing. Both quarterbacks went off. The running back was a little meh for one side than the other. Receiving was just a fucking gong show. Both teams proved that they are possible playoff contenders this season. And when I read these stats, you will not think I'm wrong. For the Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa went 28 for 45, 466 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Raheem Mostert carried it 10 times for only 37 yards and a touchdown. And this is the biggest holy shit moment so far this season. Tyreek Hill caught it 11 times for 215 yards. Holy shit. And with that, he even got 2 touchdown receptions. Have a day. Have a goddamn day. For the Chargers, Justin Herbert, the pervert, went 23 for 33, 228 yards and a touchdown. For rushing yards, it was Austin Eckler carrying it 16 times for 117 yards and a touchdown. For receiving, it was Keenan Allen catching it 6 times for 76 yards. As the Chargers almost won, but a late touchdown by the Dolphins gives them the edge, 36-34. And again, both of these teams look like Super Bowl contenders this season. Probably not all the way, but if they can get everything going their way, in a sense, they got it. But again, this is a great game. For our next game, we got the Green Bay Packers taking on the Chicago Bears. And I think it's very safe to say that Tom Grossi is very happy about this game. Jordan Love, I was not expecting to be a full-time starter. I was not expecting him to be especially do well. Now that Aaron Rodgers is gone to New York, which I'll get to when we get to the Monday night game. This is a Packers team that surprised me today. And I said I have the respect for him. For the Packers, Jordan Love went 15 for 27, 245 yards and 3 touchdowns. Aaron Jones carried the ball 9 times for 41 yards and a touchdown. And he also adds on 2 receptions for 86 yards and a touchdown, which leads the receiving core. For the Bears, Justin Fields went 24 for 37, 216 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. For rushing, Justin Fields carried it 9 times for 59 yards. And for receiving, Darnell Mooney caught it 4 times for 53 yards and a touchdown. Bears, oh God, this is going to be another season of this shit, isn't it? Bad penalties. DJ Moore being a fucking idiot. Even despite you getting DJ Moore, you get really nothing out of him. The Bears fall 38-20 to Green Bay in what can be described as Aaron Rodgers shouting up in the heavens, I still own you. I still own you. Welcome to the first of 2 MetLife Stadium matchups in a row. On Sunday Night Football, we had the Dallas Cowboys taking on the New York Giants, and oh God. Oh boy, this is not a good start for you, Giants. What was that? You guys haven't scored since the NFC divisional round. You guys haven't scored since then. I'm not counting preseason either. Fuck that. Giants, you gotta be fucking kidding me. What was that? That was absolutely pimp smack you back into reality. Jesus fucking Christ. For the Cowboys, Dak Prescott went 13 for 24, 143 yards. For rushing, Tony Pollard went 14 times on the ground for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. For receiving, CD's Nutslam caught it 4 times for 77 yards. Keep in mind, Dallas' defense had a couple touchdowns as well as the special teams. Yeah, you kind of get adjusted how badly this game was. For the Giants, Danny Dirks went 15 for 28, 104 yards and 2 interceptions. Saquon Barkley ran 12 times for 51 yards. For receiving, Darren Waller only caught it 3 times for 36 yards. The Giants don't even score. They get shut out 40-0. Everyone laughs at New York once again. Derp, derpity, derp, derp, derp. And now, Monday Night Football, Bills, Jets, and one of the most anticipated team debuts of the season with Aaron Rodgers dressing up as a New York Jet. Unfortunately, and I really mean unfortunately, even as a division rival, tragedy struck. During the first drive of the game, Aaron Rodgers took a sack. But the part that is unfortunate about that part is he left the game with an injury to his ankle and he never returned. He didn't go back out for the game. Zach Wilson wound up playing the game. And let me just put it this way. His season is probably over already. Because I'm recording this at 1:15 in the morning on Tuesday, the 12th. So after 7 minutes recording, it's not been confirmed what the exact injury is. But from Robert Saleh, the team coach, it is believed that he ruptured his Achilles. Which, again, fucking hell. Look at, I didn't want Rodgers to do well because, again, division rival. But I never wanted him to get injured like that. I never wish injury upon anybody like that. And I hope to God that he is okay. And hopefully for the Jets, this isn't season ending. But it's looking that way, unfortunately. And I hate to say it, this could be a career killer. At his age and how long he's been in the league for, this could be a career killer. And I hate to say that. I really hate to say that. But the rest of this game can be described as a holy shit game. Because that's exactly what this game was. A holy shit game. There was drama, there was laughs, there was rage, there was everything. And this game sums up the season pretty well so far. For the Bills, Josh Allen went 29 for 41, 236 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions, all to one guy, Jordan Whitehead of the Jets. Not even Sauce Gardner. It was Jordan Whitehead. For rushing yards, it was James Cook running 12 times for 46 yards. For receiving, it was Stephon Diggs catching it 10 times for 102 yards and a touchdown. For the Jets, the fucker of your mother, Zach Wilson, went 14 for 21, 140 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Breece Hall, welcome back from injury. Here's an 83-yard rush. That's one of the many rushes that got him 10 carries for 127 yards on the night. For receiving, it was Allen Lazard catching it twice for 46 yards. It had to go to overtime after Tyler Bass boinked it off the upper post and somehow still making it. The Bills had to punt it. And Xavier Gibson, 65 yards, punt return touchdown to end the game. 22-16 in overtime. Jets pull out with the win, upsetting the Bills. And I don't even know what you say to that. But that is just a holy fucking hell moment. But again, I hope the god Aaron Rodgers is okay. And I hope he gets healthy soon. And that will do it. Week 1 of Week Review is done. Done and dusted. Join me tonight here at 8 o'clock Eastern for a stream involving me, Red Rubber Duckwin, and Red5478 as we recap my 20-team fantasy leagues week, see who won, who lost, and who had some memeable moments. I probably had one in there, but you'll find out later tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, leave a like. Comment down below if you guys want to see me next. If you haven't done so already, subscribe. Join the Logical Nation. Help support the channel. Also, don't forget to check out my Twitch down below as well. But until next time, je suis le Logique Canadien. Bonne nuit et au revoir.